Brain drain. See, I can't really say it like Jim Carrey's Riddler could. It takes a certain amount of... Maybe if I were to go... Straight... never mind, it's not even worth it. Released in 1998 for the original Game Boy, courtesy of Acclaim Entertainment and developer Visual Impact. Brain Drain... okay, never mind. Brain Drain is a tile-based puzzle game where the aim is to rearrange the set of jewels, or tiles, they change shapes every so often, on the big board to look like the set of jewels, tiles, whatever, arranged in the small box. Control pad moves your square cursor or highlight thing around while both buttons rotate the jewels clockwise or counter. Succeed in solving the puzzle before time runs out and you move on to the next round. Fail to do so and the game is over, but you do have a couple credits to continue onwards with the opportunity to earn mode via the bonus rounds. Naturally, puzzles start off relatively simple and straightforward, but become more complex as you progress onwards, with more tiles and tile types for you to contend with. Later rounds will eventually introduce various forms of gimmickry to artificially increase the difficulty, such as masking tiles after you spin them or at random, inverting or even freezing your controls among other tricks. The idea is intended to throw you off your game but only serves to waste your time, of which you have less of as you go up higher in the food chain. Every few levels you'll play a bonus round where you have to slide tiles to form a proper picture, which will net you either a bonus credit or a flash bonus that lets you skip a level by holding down the B button. Completing a puzzle in under 10 seconds earns you a clock power-up that lets you temporarily freeze the timer by holding down the A button. Every few more levels cleared will net you a passcode that will allow you to resume your progress at a later time. Brain Drain boasts a little over 200 plus levels for you to contend with, and while there is a difficulty setting in the option menu, all this does is start you off at a higher level rather than toggle the actual difficulty. And really there's not a whole lot to say about this one. Brain Drain is a fairly simplistic, straightforward, and rather rudimentary tile-based puzzle game with easy to understand controls and a concept that is fairly easy to learn and difficult to conquer. It's not a remarkable game by any means. If anything, it's pretty average fare that wouldn't be out of place as a cheapo Android game today. Fine in short bursts and not much more than that. But at the very least, it is functional and it does what it does well enough. You have two modes of play, the standard brain game and a brain race mode, where you're given random puzzles to solve with the idea of seeing how far you could progress before eventually losing. It all boils down to the same thing at the end of it all, so whatever. Visually, it's not a bad looking game. You have some different themed tiles, jewels that pop up at random, different backdrops every so often, generally clean looking layouts. Nothing too fancy, but enough to communicate what you need to see clearly enough. Amazingly, you do get a special border when playing this on the Super Game Boy accessory, a fun little ditty with two of the little caricatures on top. On the other hand though, Brain Drain has some mediocre sound output. The sound effects are kinda meh even by Game Boy standards, and the game's one-ish track that plays throughout the game is quite bland. And since it's the only tune that plays, it gets grating after a while. Fortunately, there's an option to disable the music, but all that means is that you're left with the rubbish sound effects. And please, spare me the tired well, it's Game Boy, what'd you expect, derp? By 1998, you had more than enough examples of quality Game Boy sound output, and this wouldn't have cut the mustard even by 1989 standards when the system first came out. Kindly fuck off with that noise. Thank you, bye. Overall, Brain Drain is a tedious and rather unremarkable little puzzle game on a platform already chock full of quality puzzle games, and that's before the needless gimmicks of artificial difficulty coming into play, which makes Brain Drain even more of a slog. To the game's credit, it is functional, it has its moments, and there's more than enough levels that you can get some mild enjoyment out of, but then you'll set it aside, you'll forget about it, and you'll do something else with your time instead. All in all, meh.